Hey, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Well, another setback for the Republicans, this time in the Senate, as the votes just not there from Mitch McConnell and the Republicans trying to repeal and replace Obamacare. The votes just simply aren't there, and the Republicans can't move forward, and now legislation has been delayed until at least after the July 4th recess, which the Senate gets back into session, I believe, on Sunday the 9th, probably be at least until the 10th before anything is done. Hopefully there will be some backdoor negotiations being made during the July 4th recess. Reading from Fox News, let's see, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell Tuesday delayed the vote on his Obamacare overhaul plan amid dwindling support from the rank-and-file Republicans, touching off what is sure to be a furious scramble to revise the bill and win over GOP holdouts. The Kentucky Republican said, quote, "We're going to continue the discussion after McConnell emerged from a closed-door meeting with Republicans. We will not be on the bill this week. Vote not expected until after the July 4th recess." Trump, meanwhile, has summoned all 52 GOP senators to the White House for a meeting Tuesday afternoon in hopes of determining a way forward. McConnell says he remains optimistic that the delay is another setback for Republicans, and that they will move forward from this. McConnell needs at least 50 Republicans in order to say yes to any bill. Then he can have the vice president come in and break the tie. But the problem is support is falling for the bill because of the CBO projected estimate that 22 million more Americans would be uninsured by 2026, which I don't know why everyone considers that a bad number when there are many people who would choose not to carry insurance if there was no mandate. There would be quite a few people who would say, forget about it. I don't need to have insurance. I don't want insurance. I don't want to spend the money for insurance. I will pay as I go, which I know some people who are still doing that currently. McConnell apparently delayed the vote upon realizing he didn't have the votes to call an initial vote to start debate on the measure. At least 5 GOP senators, Susan Collins of Maine, a moderate, Dean Heller of Nevada, Mike Lee of Utah, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, and Rand Paul of Kentucky indicated after the CBO analysis that they won't vote in favor of starting the debate, which means you can't move forward. There's no way around it. You just can't move forward. Collins said this past weekend that she expressed concerns about the bill curbing Medicaid and cutting Planned Parenthood funding, but she said she'd make a decision about her support after the release of the CBO analysis. McConnell and other GOP congressional leaders pointed to bright spots in the analysis, including the bill in the upcoming decade cutting federal deficits by $202 billion more than the House version of the bill that passed in May. So, where are we right now? We are back at the very beginning. Republicans don't have a plan in the Senate right now, a viable plan moving forward. They still have to get votes together. And let's look at a timeline. Once Republicans get back into session in the Senate, you have 3 weeks before the August recess. The U.S. Senate will not meet in August unless that is put off, delayed, or canceled. This also hurts tax reform. Remember, we're getting down to crunch time here. There are a lot of things that Trump wants to do, a lot of things that Republican voters urge the Republican Party to do. That includes reforming or repealing Obamacare and also reforming the tax code. And Republicans aren't close to either one of those things. Which, listen, folks, and I've talked about this on the show many times, and I've gotten a lot of people who have emailed into the show, and they're upset at the Republican Party. They're upset with the Republicans in the House and in the Senate. Folks, Republicans only had 7 years, okay? They only had 7 years to get a plan together to pass under a Republican president. They only had 7 years. What do you want? from the Republican Party. I mean, it's pretty pathetic. It really is. This should be a done deal by now. This shows that the Republicans never thought they were going to win the White House, that they never had a real plan moving forward. They can't get a plan together. To me, there's a whole lot of negative here. I know Mitch McConnell will say some good things, and I'm sure some other Republican lawmakers will say some nice things to try and reassure the Republican Party moving forward. But this shows how inept the Republican leadership is in the U.S. Senate and, by the way, in the U.S. House. The fact that you can't get on the same page. We are months into the Trump presidency, months into a presidency that promised the American people that we were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. You are months into this, and you still don't have a plan. Because whatever the Senate passes, they've got to go back to the House, and they've got to get the House on board. So we are still a long ways away from actually getting something done when it comes to Obamacare and repealing and replacing Obamacare. By the way, many of the senators who are in the U.S. Senate right now ran years ago on the platform of repealing Obamacare, and they still don't have a plan. It shows that they were just throwing out words at the time, saying, yeah, we're going to replace Obamacare, but none of them actually had a plan. Listen, you're not going to get perfection from the first bill that is passed. You're not going to get perfection the first year or two that it passes. This is going to be a work in progress if you're still going to have government involved in health insurance and in health care. Personally, I would love for the government to get the hell out of insurance, but it's not going to happen at this point. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error, and it's also going to take a while to get all the damage undone and for premiums to come down. But the Republicans must do something. They have got to get on board. They have got to get out a message, and they have got to work together to repeal and replace Obamacare and to drive down premiums. It has to happen this year, or it won't happen at all. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO. Follow me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio. Have a great day. We'll talk later.